Good morning, my family and friends. May the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, guard your heart and minds in Christ Jesus. A once upon a time felon, unashamed for Christ, forever saved. So, I have a thought that I want to touch on, being when you're part of an organization, when you're part of a union, like me, I'm part of a union. As a union member, we have about 9,000 members in my union, between the painters, the tapers, the metal polishers, the bridge painters, the wallpaper hangers, the glaziers. The glaziers are the ones that hang glass. The paper hangers are the ones that put wallpaper. So between all those trades, we make one union. So when you look at the painters, there's about almost 2,000 painters in my union. And my union, thank God, right? My union, when you're part of DC9, you're part of an organization, you're part of a union that we are the highest paid painters in the world. We are the highest paid painters in the world. Nobody in the world gets paid the way DC9 painters get paid. That's amazing right there when you consider how big the world is, how many countries, how many billions of people are on the earth. For us to be considered the highest paid painters in the world, you gotta look at that right there. Why is that? Well, that's because the way we do the job and the way we develop our skill set is second to none. So there's a certain level of excellence and just the way that we complete the job. That's why we get paid like that, right? So look at this now. When you look at different situations, right, of being the best in the world, when you go to the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, these guys, they get paid the amount of money they get paid because they're the best in the world at what they do. They display a level of excellence. They get millions and millions and millions of dollars in those contracts because they are the best. So they operate at a level of excellence. So when I look at that, right, I say to myself, I need to be excellent at what I do. I need to develop my skill set, because being that that's what my rate is, being that that's the money that I'm able to make, then I gotta produce on that level. This is why Michael Jordan worked the way that he worked and played the way that he played and got the results that he got results. And Kobe Bryant came right behind him, and he played how he played, and he practiced the way he practiced, and he got the results that he got. And LeBron James came behind him, and he worked, and he developed his skill set, and he became the best at what he does to get to where he's at, right? So that applies to us too, on a smaller scale. Don't let that, don't let that fly over your head right there. If you want to work and if you want to make money in this business, then you got to display a level of excellence. You got to be good at what you do. And what happens sometimes is that we could trick ourselves. We could deceive ourselves, because it happened to me. When I got into this business and I started painting and I was moving around with a sprayer, and I learned how to spray as a second year. On my second year, I was already spraying with the spray machine. I was already spraying paint on the wall. Man, I thought that I thought that I was it, that I was that I deserved to get paid like somebody who was in this business for 10 or 15 or 20 years. And just because I knew how to spray, like in my mind, I thought that I was good, that I was gonna be. And then once I learned how to roll the wall and do a little bit of cutting, I thought that was it. But I didn't know how to do a blowout pass correctly. I didn't know how to skim coat a wall correctly. There was certain, I didn't know how to run a whole job with 10, 15 painters. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I used to get frustrated, but I was an apprentice at the same time, and I was learning and learning and learning, right? It took me a long time to learn what I know today, 25,000 hours later. It takes at least 10,000 hours to become a master at something. So when you consider the fact that I've been working 25,000 hours already, then there's a certain level of skill that I know already that I didn't have in the past. And now the work is there for me because I got to that point. But you can't expect to work as much as me if you don't know as much as me. You got to get to that point. And sometimes we feel entitled. Sometimes there's a sense of entitlement because I know such and such, or because he's my father, or because I'm his cousin, or because he's my uncle, that automatically I'm supposed to work. I'm supposed to be plugged in. Nah, it doesn't work like that, man. You got to put the work in, and you got to develop your skill set. You got to be excellent at what you do. Now consider this. Consider Apple, right? Why are they worth billions of dollars, and why do they dominate the way that they do? Why? Because they develop a product that is excellent. I've been using this iPhone now for over 10 years, and I started with the iPhone 4S, right? And why? Because it does what it does. It does what it's supposed to do. You know, it works the way it's supposed to work. And then as time goes on, when you go to the iPhone 6, the iPhone 7, the iPhone 8, the iPhone 10, 12, ISO 14, they got better and better. It went from one camera to two camera, from a picture to a clearer picture, from being able to zoom in to zoom out. Now, you know, years ago you was paying hundreds of dollars for an iPhone. Now you gotta pay $1,300 for an iPhone. Why? Because they got better and better. The battery lasts longer. Once you plug it in overnight, you don't have to worry about charging your phone anymore. This is why they dominate. You know, Amazon, billions and billions of dollar company. Why? Because they dominate in what they do. When you order, it gets there. 2, 3, 4 days later, you're gonna have your product right at your front door. You know, whatever it is you wanna order. You know, they receive back the returns. You know, and they develop a service in an excellent way. So why shouldn't I be accountable to that level of excellence if I want the return also? If I want to make the money that I think that I deserve, I gotta become better at what I do. What does that look like? I gotta stand out from the rest of the pack that's next to me, trying to get the job, trying to get the work. I gotta stand out. I gotta separate myself. How do I separate myself? Well, I gotta be better. I gotta be good. I gotta be excellent. I gotta be on time. You see what I'm saying? I gotta show up on time. You know, and look, I did this one time, man. After about 10 years already in the union, I got on a job one time in Long Island City where it was just me and the foreman and somebody else showing up to work every day, right? And I never had a problem with getting to work early. But for some reason in my mind, I told myself, you know what? I'm gonna get here every day before the foreman does. I'm gonna make sure that I'm on the job before he's on the job. And every day, either I will get there with him or I will get there before him. but I never got there after him, right? And after a couple of weeks of me doing this, slowly but surely, he started delegating responsibilities to me. And he started telling me, yo, look, I'm not gonna be there at such and such time. This is what I want to happen. Make sure that that happens. Tell such and such this, tell such and such that. And little by little, I was running the job, right? And on top of that, I was the shop steward, right? So what happens? That goes on. Everything is going fine. More painters start coming. More painters start coming. So now from 3 or 4 painters, it was 10, 11 painters, 12 painters, 13. It was a crew now. And now, he's not even coming on the job like that. He's just making phone calls, calling me, and I'm delegating out the task. What do you think happened in that case? Well, in that case, my peers, they was looking at me like I wasn't supposed to be running the job. Like why I was a shop steward and the foreman. They went to the book, they said, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. You for the men. And they went left on me instead of encouraging me. Why? Because I had a little position that I earned by being on time, by doing what I said I was gonna do. So, you know, and then I had to deal with stuff, you know, to the point where I almost had a physical confrontation with one of the workers, one of the painters, because the disrespect was rising little by little to the point where it got me on my square. Like, why I gotta be that way? You see what I'm saying? So this is what I want to convey, that if you think you deserve something, then try to earn it. You know, show up to the job, be the first one there. You see what I'm saying? Don't wait till they tell you to stop. Don't just stop on your own because you think this is the time to stop. No, find out which time is the time to stop. You know, because I got in trouble with that too sometimes. Sometimes I knew that we had to stop at 2:15 or 2:20, and I would tell myself, nah, I didn't really take a break, or I worked a little bit too hard. I'm not stopping. I'm stopping at 2:05 because I need to clean. You know, so you just gotta be careful about doing what you think you want to do. If you stick to the rules that have been established and what the boss, the super or the foreman want, then you're not gonna have a problem. You see what I'm saying? Because it's unfair to deceive yourself into thinking that just because I'm part of this union or just because I'm in this company, then now I reserve the right to get everything that is coming to me. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to work towards it, and you have to become the best, and you have to operate in a level of excellence. You have to operate in a level of excellence in order to get what you think you deserve. The same thing when it comes to your finances, with credit. You know, who does the bank really give money to? Who does the bank really give money to? The bank give money to the people that display a certain level of responsibility when it comes to their finances. This is why the credit score is so big in 2023. You see what I'm saying? And you know, we just have to work. We just have to learn how to work together. You know, I don't have to be afraid of losing my job if I'm willing to help you out. I don't have to be afraid of losing my job because I'm helping you out. I need for you to learn how to do this, because this is how our pension gets paid. Our pension gets paid by the guys that are signing up behind us, that are putting in the hours. They pay us our pension. Right now, by me showing up to work this early in the morning, I'm paying somebody's pension that's home retired right now, because he worked his 30 years and he got his hours in. So, you know, it's not the right mindset to think that I'm not gonna teach him because you're gonna lose my job. So who's gonna pay your pension?